All right, so it's 1 p.m. Thank you for joining us today for our September 17th live from the Birmingham Museum. And today we're doing an artifact spotlight on one of Birmingham's own. Well, actually, it's kind of the story of two men from Birmingham, but we only really have artifacts from one. So we're going to be talking about Bruce Campbell today, and mostly because September 15th is the 30 and some year anniversary of the release of the movie The Evil Dead. And I first watched that movie when I was in high school with some friends and my high school boyfriend, and I really developed a crush on Bruce Campbell in that movie. Sorry not sorry to my high school boyfriend. But of course, me and Bruce, we would never work because according to family lore, I am related to the Habsburgs, which means that in my DNA, there are genes for the Habsburg jaw just floating around and waiting to be expressed in future children. And so my chin genes and his would release a truly grotesque child into the world. So also he's married, so that's not going to happen. But anyways, so The Evil Dead is one of the true cult classic horror movies. It's been called one of the most significant horror movies of all time and one of the most significant independent films of all time. So Bruce Campbell and his friend from Groves, Sam Raimi, and they both shot Super 8 films around Birmingham when they were both attending Groves High School. We have a video from a lecture last year that Kyle gave at the Baldwin Library. And he mentioned how the two of them, they would film scenes where they were throwing dummies off the Chester Street parking deck. And people were so concerned that there was actually someone jumping off the top of the parking deck that they were calling the cops. And I will link that talk below. It's a really great one. It's about Birmingham in the movies, past and present. So they got together and they kind of conceived this horror film surrounding about 5 students in an isolated cabin. The students are from Michigan State, and they end up unleashing an army of demons and other spirits. And in true Hollywood horror movie fashion, only one survives at the end. And they really wanted to film that in Royal Oak, which they were both from. Unfortunately, they ended up filming it in Tennessee because that was the one town that was actually interested in the movie. And they ended up filming it for only $90,000, which even in the 80s was just a microscopic sum to spend on a movie. But it ended up grossing about, in the US, $2.4 million. And worldwide between 2.7 and 29.4 million. And I'm really not sure why that range is so big. I was trying to find information on that and I really couldn't. If anyone has any information on that, let us know in the comments. I'm very curious. And so it was actually, then it gained so much traction and people were so interested in the movie and they thought it was really well done for the time. The special effects were groundbreaking in many ways. And in fact, there's a recipe for fake blood that one of the prop people working on the film came up with that it's still being used in horror films today. And it was even better than the average. I think before they used cornstarch and red dye to make fake blood, and the prop guy ended up including coffee in it and made it so much better. I'm not a chemist, so I have no idea how that works, but it is. And so actually the next year, 1982, it actually got to have it run at the Cannes Film Festival as well. And Stephen King saw it there and he published a really glowing review. It's still in his top 5 list of his favorite horror movies of all time. And eventually New Line Cinema got the rights to distribute the film, and it led to 2 sequels, 1 soft reboot, and Ash vs. the Evil Dead, which was a series that within the last few years was on Showtime. So it really kind of launched an empire, and it launched both Sam Raimi's directorial career. So, I mean, I mostly know him from the Spider-Man movies, and also Bruce Campbell's acting career. And so Bruce Campbell was born June 22nd in 1958 in Royal Oak, but he did attend Groves High School here in Birmingham, and then he went on to study at the University of Western Michigan. And so we have two of his books here that he wrote. This one, If Chins Could Kill, was published in 2002. And this one, called Make Love, like the Bruce Campbell Way, was in 2005. And he's really known for being in a lot of like B-movies and TV and film series. And we actually got him to sign both of these. So in this one it says, to the Birmingham Historic Museum, stay groovy. And of course in 2005 he did this. That was our name. So we've had a name change since then.
We're still groovy.
Yes, we're still groovy though. That's what Leslie says, and I concur. And this one just says, to the Birmingham Historical Museum with love in scare quotes. So I don't know what that means. Bruce Campbell, please tell us. And another thing that we have here was actually donated by Bruce Campbell's company. Sorry, I just heard the doorbell ring, and I don't know who that is, but sorry to that person. I'm live on Facebook. I cannot answer the door. So, this is from The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. And Bruce Campbell wore this on set of the TV show. It ran from 1993 to 1994, so only one season on Fox, but I think it sounds really, really interesting. I'm going to have to look this up. It was a Western set in 1893, starring Bruce Campbell as Briscoe County Jr. He's a Harvard-trained lawyer turned bounty hunter, looking for the man who killed his father. And there's steampunk elements in it. There's sci-fi. It sounds delightful and amazing, and I want to cross over with X-Files with that, not the revival X-Files, because I think we can all agree that that was tragic. I want the original run X-Files, and it was called a weird Western, so kind of like these sci-fi elements and horses. Bruce Campbell stated that on the set of the TV show he had an invisible pocket sewn into all of his clothing so that he could reward all the horses that he worked with. And yeah, so that's what we have in our collection, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It's just really great to be able to go into our collection and find some of these amazing items and tell their story. So an important note, next week all of us staff here at the museum will be at the Birmingham City Clerk's office helping out with the upcoming election, so we will not have a live video, but I will provide links to a playlist of our previous lives. So if you have missed one, go back and check those out. We have them on all variety of topics. So thank you so much for joining us this week, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.